Hello, dear friends. I'm Joy, and I'm so happy you're with us today.
Hey there, I'm Anger. Ready for something really exciting? We've got something special for you.
Hi, it's Anxiety. I hope you're all doing well. Today's adventure will be a bit tense, but we'll get through it together.
Hi, this is Disgust. I hope you're all ready for new challenges and interesting moments. Let's get started.
Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like this video. It helps us keep doing what we love.
And leave comments so we know which adventures you like the most.
Yes, and share your thoughts. It's important for us to know what you think.
Ready? Then let's go. Let's start our adventure.
Today, Tim and I are going to play Roblox in the Escape Baby Bobby Daycare mode. I think it's going to be a lot of fun and very exciting.
Yeah, let's see if we can escape this daycare. It better be challenging.
I'm already feeling a bit nervous. Daycares can be full of surprises.
Let's just hope it's not too messy. I'm not a fan of sticky situations.
All right, let's get started and see what adventures await us.
Oh no, look at this huge room. And there are so many platforms to jump across. What if Tim misses and falls? These platforms are so small and far apart. What if he loses his balance? It's so scary. I don't know if he can do it.
Calm down. Tim can do this. He just needs to focus and be careful. It's a test of strength and endurance, and Tim will pass it. Stop doubting. If Tim gets nervous, he will definitely fall. He needs to stay focused and act confidently. We have to support him, not scare him, so let's cheer him on together.
You're right, Anger. It's just, I can't help worrying. I hope everything goes well. Okay, I'll try not to stress so much. Go, Tim, you can do it. We believe in you.
That's better. Hey, Tim, watch each platform carefully, take confident steps, and don't rush. You can do this. Imagine you're a hero overcoming all obstacles in your path. You got this. We believe in you.
Today we have an incredible story about Tim who accidentally found a magical flying skateboard. Yes, you heard it right. A skateboard that can fly. Tim was over the moon when he first soared through the air, and this was the start of his amazing adventure.
But joy was short-lived. As soon as Tim began using the skateboard, he ran into problems. Evil trolls appeared in town, wanting to steal the magical skateboard. They were a real threat. Tim and his friends had to fight to protect the skateboard from these nasty trolls.
Every time the trolls showed up, I was filled with worry. I always feared for Tim's safety. For instance, when the trolls captured one of Tim's friends, he had to carry out a dangerous rescue in underground catacombs. Every step was fraught with danger, and I was terrified at the thought of something bad happening.
I can't forget what Tim had to endure. When he sneaked into the troll's lair, he stumbled upon a disgusting swamp full of sticky, foul-smelling slime. The trolls lived in filth, and their lair was filled with unpleasant odors and revolting creatures. I was just appalled by what was happening.
But despite all the difficulties, Tim showed incredible courage and ingenuity. He used the magical skateboard to skillfully maneuver through obstacles and escape from the trolls. In the end, he managed to defeat the trolls and return the skateboard to its rightful place so no one else would be hurt.
Yes, Tim did it, but it was a real battle. The trolls not only wanted the skateboard, but also destroyed half the town. Every moment was filled with conflict and aggression.
But despite all the fears and worries, Tim and his friends managed to overcome. They learned to work together and use their strengths to tackle every challenge. It was very tense, but the outcome was worth it.
And even though the adventure was full of unpleasant moments, Tim showed that with determination and bravery, you can overcome any obstacle, no matter how awful.
So, kids, that was an amazing adventure. Thanks for spending this time with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out on new stories and adventures of Tim. And the next story will be about Tim, who unexpectedly found himself in an incredible world where every day repeats over and over as if he had entered Groundhog Day. At first, it seemed amazing and fun, as Tim could do anything without worrying about the consequences.
But, as often happens, not everything was smooth. Tim quickly realized that each day repeated with small but annoying changes. Even simple things, like the order in his room or what he did in the morning, became a constant source of irritation. He tried to change his actions, but nothing could alter the fact that everything started from scratch again.
What worried me the most was that Tim didn't know when this endless day would end. Every time he thought he found a way to escape or change something, he woke up again on the same day. This created a huge sense of anxiety because he didn't know how to cope with the cycle.
And not only that, every day Tim faced the same unpleasant things. The memories of having to clean dirty spots in the house or repeatedly tidy up things that were already cleaned were just disgusting. All of this made Tim's day even more unpleasant.
But despite all the difficulties, Tim found a way to use this strange situation to his advantage. He learned to make each thing better than before. He used every repetitive day to perfect his skills, help others, and have fun. It was amazing how he turned even the most ordinary moments into something special.
Even though he continued to face annoying repetitions, Tim learned to deal with it. He stopped getting angry at every little mishap and started using his new skills to overcome challenges.
I saw how Tim became more confident and calm despite the constant repetition of the day. He learned to manage his anxiety by focusing on his goals and trying not to worry about when it would all end.
And even though many things remained unpleasant, Tim learned to take lessons from them. He stopped complaining about dirty and disgusting things and began to see them from a new perspective. It was unexpected but still useful.
In the end, when Tim learned to find joy in every moment and used his experience to improve the lives of those around him, the Groundhog Day ended. He returned to normal time, but with new knowledge and skills that helped him handle any difficulty.
And although the path was long and irritating, Tim managed to overcome this challenge and became stronger.
I was so happy to see Tim learn to cope with anxiety and find a way to handle any situation.
Yes, and even despite all the unpleasant moments, Tim was able to use his skills to make his life better. It was truly amazing.
And the next story will be about how Tim found himself on a magical island where all wishes come true. This island was full of amazing things: flying crystals, talking animals, and an ocean of chocolate milk. Tim was on cloud 9 with happiness.
But not everything was so rosy. The island had its problems. At first, Tim struggled with magical creatures who often got their wishes mixed up, leading to mishaps. Some island games were incredibly difficult and even frustrating.
I was worried about the unpredictability of the island. Every day, something new and strange happened. Snake rain, unexpected disappearances of objects, and unpredictable behavior from magical creatures. Tim didn't know what to expect, and it made him very anxious.
And I was grossed out by how some magical creatures left their mess everywhere. These creatures were messy, and there was dirt and sticky spots all over the place. Tim tried to find a way to deal with this mess, but it was quite a challenge.
Despite all the difficulties, Tim didn't miss a chance to enjoy the happy moments. He explored the island, met kind creatures, and took part in amazing adventures. In the end, he found a way to use the island's magic to make his day even more magical.
Although the island was full of challenges, Tim learned to handle them. He used his skills to overcome the toughest trials and turned frustration into motivation.
Over time, Tim got used to the strange and unpredictable events. He began to adapt to the new rhythm of life on the island and even found joy in unexpected twists.
Tim also found ways to deal with the dirt and mess. He became more tolerant of inconveniences and learned to find pleasure even in the least appealing aspects of island life.
Thus, Tim completed his adventure on the magical island, full of wonders and amazing discoveries. He learned to find joy even in tough situations and made the experience unforgettable.
Tim became stronger and more confident despite all the difficulties.
He learned to handle unexpected situations and grew more self-assured.
And even the dirt and mess didn't ruin his adventure. Tim learned to cope with inconveniences and find something positive in them.
So our adventure ends on a high note, with new knowledge and experiences that Tim will remember for a long time. Well, our stories have come to an end. We hope you enjoyed listening to them as much as we enjoyed telling them. We put a lot of heart into them and tried to make them interesting and exciting for you. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us continue creating new and thrilling adventures for you.
Yeah, and every like, every subscription, and every comment really matters to us. We want our stories to reach as many people as possible, and your support helps us a lot. Don't forget to leave comments so we know what stories you want to hear next. Your thoughts and suggestions are very valuable to us.
Thank you for being with us today. Avoid dirty situations unless they're in a story. Keep your space clean and your heart joyful. We're happy to share these moments with you and hope our stories bring you joy and inspiration.
Goodbye, everyone. See you next time. Hey, everyone. You won't believe what's in store for us today. We're diving into an underwater adventure where we'll be escaping from the prison of SpongeBob. Yes, that's right. The fun and cheerful SpongeBob. But this time, he's somehow become the warden, and we need to break out of there fast. I'm so excited to see what challenges await us. The underwater world is full of so many unique and fascinating things. I'm sure there will be lots of fun moments to laugh at, and tricky puzzles that we'll need to solve together.
Ugh, I'm furious just thinking about how we got thrown into this sponge's prison. How did this even happen? Seriously, I don't get how SpongeBob, with his constant smiling face, ended up being our jailer. But let me tell you one thing, I'm not just going to sit around and wait. If he thinks he can keep us locked up, he's got another thing coming. I'm ready for any fight, ready to tear this prison apart if I have to. We need to escape, and I'll do whatever it takes to make that happen.
Oh, I'm so worried. We don't even know what's waiting for us in there. What if this prison is full of traps? Maybe there are weird and dangerous creatures swimming around just waiting to attack us. I can't stop thinking about all the possible dangers. What if we get stuck? What if someone gets into trouble? I think we need to be extra careful, checking every step, every door. We have to be very cautious to make sure we get out of there safe and sound.
This situation is just disgusting. Seriously, a prison underwater? In a world where everything's damp and smells like fish? That's already horrible. And now the idea that SpongeBob is running the prison? I really hope the inside isn't as gross as I'm imagining. But let's get through this place as quickly as possible and be done with it. The last thing we need is to fall into some nasty trap, or even worse, stumble into something revolting.
It's strange. There should be water all around, but instead there's lava. Could this be some sort of trap, designed specifically to throw us off? What should we do next? We were expecting underwater currents and air bubbles, but instead, we're facing scorching fire and molten lava. We need to quickly come up with a plan to get out of here because this is nothing like what we were prepared for.
Look at this magma sphere. It looks incredibly hot. We need to be very careful not to end up underneath it, as its temperature could be so high that it might easily crush or even burn us.
Time for stories. Today's story will be about an incredible adventure Tim had with magical magnetic sneakers. Imagine finding a pair of sneakers that allow you to run on walls and ceilings. It's truly something extraordinary that can change the entire world of play and exploration. At first, Tim couldn't believe his eyes when he opened the box and saw these unusual sneakers. He immediately felt that they could bring him countless adventures and fun. Right now, you'll find out how these sneakers opened up a whole new perspective on the world for Tim.
Oh, those sneakers sound intriguing, but let's not forget about the potential risks. Imagine what could happen if something goes wrong. Tim could easily lose his balance and fall, especially if he's not careful. And what if the sneakers suddenly break or don't work as expected? We all know how easily things can go wrong when something doesn't work properly. So let's not overlook the possible dangers and make sure to be cautious.
Yes, it's very exciting, but you have no idea how worried I am for Tim. These sneakers might seem magical and safe, but what if something goes wrong? How will he handle it if he finds himself in a tricky situation? Perhaps these sneakers could lead to unexpected problems that Tim might not be able to solve. Just imagine if he can't control his movements and ends up in a dangerous situation. I just can't help but worry about him. I hope everything turns out well and he stays safe.
I see that the sneakers look quite appealing, but I'm not a fan of the idea that they could get dirty or stained. Those magnetic inserts could easily collect grime, and who knows how they'll look after a while. How will Tim deal with cleaning these sneakers if they get dirty? And what if they start to smell? Honestly, I'm not keen on wearing something that could quickly become filthy and untidy. I hope Tim considers this and isn't disappointed.
Despite all the worries, Tim was filled with excitement when he first tried on those sneakers. He started with simple steps and soon discovered that he could run on walls and ceilings as easily as never before. It felt like magic, and he couldn't be happier with his new possibilities. Just imagine how amazing it is to see the world from a completely different perspective, to open new horizons, and explore places that were previously out of reach. For Tim, it was a true adventure, and he was ready for anything to discover what other amazing things could happen.
Yes, I get that it could be fun, but let's not forget that even the most wonderful things can have their downsides. Tim needs to remember that safety is key, and he must be careful to avoid possible injuries and troubles. These sneakers could give him new opportunities, but they might also become a source of danger if he's not attentive. I hope he uses them wisely and doesn't end up in trouble.
I'm still worried about Tim, despite all his new opportunities. I hope he stays cautious and considers all possible risks. Every new adventure can be unpredictable, and he needs to be prepared for any difficulties that may arise. I wish him luck and hope that these sneakers bring him only positive experiences and exciting moments. Let's all support Tim and hope he handles all the challenges ahead.
Well, I think Tim will manage all the challenges, but I'm still a bit skeptical. It's important to remember that even the most thrilling adventures can have their inconveniences and issues. I hope these sneakers will be reliable and won't let Tim down, and that he won't encounter any dirt or unpleasant moments. In any case, I hope his adventure with the sneakers will be successful and bring a lot of joy, despite the potential difficulties.
So, friends, we hope you enjoyed this story about Tim's magical sneakers. We're sure he has many more exciting adventures ahead. Don't forget to keep an eye on our new videos and leave your comments. We'd love to hear about your impressions from this story and what adventures you'd like to see in the future. The next story will be about Tim and his special glasses that allow him to see past and future events. One day, Tim found a pair of antique glasses with magical abilities. They let him see events from the past and look into the future. You can't imagine the wonder of it all. When Tim first put on those glasses, he saw himself as a child and even witnessed key moments in his life. We experienced those exciting moments with him and shared in the joy of seeing how things had happened. The feeling of being able to go back and see how everything unfolded was absolutely amazing. With this discovery, Tim was on the brink of a world full of fascinating adventures.
However, with this great gift came its own set of challenges. Anxiety quickly took over as Tim began to see potential disasters and threats in the future. Imagine seeing something terrible about to happen and realizing you're the only one who can stop it. Tim was in a state of constant turmoil, as not all events could be easily changed. We were all anxious, fearing that his actions might lead to unintended consequences. Every step Tim took involved making crucial decisions to minimize risks and correct possible mistakes. These were real moments of anxiety where quick and thoughtful actions were essential.
And of course, problems arose along the way. Even though the glasses provided Tim with extraordinary vision, they didn't always work as he hoped. There were times when Tim had to deal with his own mistakes and their fallout. Anger grew when he realized that despite his best efforts, he sometimes made things worse. It was especially frustrating when every decision could impact the future. One mistake could lead to even more problems. I was angry that such a powerful ability could turn into a source of trouble and distress. We all saw how hard it was to manage this power and how crucial it was to be cautious.
And of course, we can't forget the less pleasant aspects. The glasses, though magical, often required careful maintenance. They would get dirty and covered in dust, which was quite disgusting. Tim had to clean them regularly to maintain a clear view. We even found unpleasant scenes and scary moments that Tim had to deal with. The grime and dust affected our perception, making things very uncomfortable. Tim often had to face things that elicited feelings of disgust from us. Despite all the challenges, he continued using the glasses, though it took a lot of effort.
But still, despite all the hardships, Tim managed to learn how to use the glasses wisely. He overcame the challenges and figured out how to solve the puzzles that helped him avoid potential disasters. These glasses brought joy and new discoveries into his life. We were happy to see him finding solutions to problems and helping those around him using his abilities. It was truly a unique opportunity that allowed him not just to see, but also to shape the future, making the world a bit better. And so ended the story of Tim and his magical glasses. It was a journey filled with joy, anxiety, anger, and disgust, teaching him to appreciate every moment and use his powers wisely. Well, that's it for today. If you enjoyed Tim's story with his special glasses, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up. Your likes and comments make us happy and inspire us for new adventures. Thank you for being with us, and see you next time. Hello, friends! We're so happy you joined us today. We've got a lot of exciting stuff prepared for you, and we're sure you'll love it.
Yes, yes, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our new adventures. Give us a like so we know you enjoy what we're doing.
Hey, don't waste time. Subscribe to the channel and hit those likes. We're working hard for you, and it's the only way to support us. So come on, do it now.
Yeah, and don't forget to leave a comment. It's important for us to know what you liked or what you'd like to see next.
Well, let's get started. Today, our boy Tim will be playing Roblox in the Escape Toby's Hospital mode.
Oh, a hospital. I hope it won't be too scary. I always get nervous in places like this.
A hospital, huh? Tim can handle anything that comes his way. Let's see how he gets out of this mess.
I hope it's clean there, and there won't be any dirty corridors or filthy instruments. So shall we begin?
Great! We found the key! Tim, let's hurry and open that door! We're almost out of here!
Oh no, the doctor is right behind us. Tim, please be careful and don't drop the key. We need to move quickly.
Run faster, Tim. That doctor won't catch us if you keep up the pace. We won't let him get to us.
I can hear his heavy breathing. Tim, get that door open now. I can't stand the thought of him getting any closer.
This is kind of fun, isn't it? Crawling through the vents feels like we're on a secret mission. Tim, you're doing great.
I don't know, Joy. It's so cramped in here, and we don't know what's ahead. What if there are traps or something worse?
Stop worrying, Anxiety. Tim can handle it. He's been through worse. Just keep moving forward and we'll be out of here in no time.
I hope this vent doesn't get any grosser. I can already feel the dust sticking to my skin. Ugh, this is so disgusting.
Hey, look! I think I see a way out just ahead. We'll be in a new room in no time. Stay positive, everyone.
Oh no, we're here. What's that smell? It's getting stronger. I have a bad feeling about this.
Great, what now? More obstacles? Tim, get ready. We can't afford to slow down.
Look at those pipes. Green slime is oozing out of them. This is a nightmare. Tim, you'll have to jump on those blocks to get across. Just don't touch the slime.
We have an incredible story for you about how Tim ended up on a thrilling treasure hunt on a mysterious island. It all started when Tim found an ancient map in an old library. The map marked the way to a legendary treasure hidden on the enigmatic island. Tim was absolutely thrilled at the idea of going on this adventure.
Oh, absolutely! But it wasn't just about finding the treasure. The island was full of traps and dangers. Tim faced off against nasty sea monsters and evil pirates. One of the toughest moments was when he had to cross a bridge made of creaky planks. Tim kept stumbling and falling into the water. It was definitely not an easy challenge.
I was so worried too. Tim was constantly in danger. In the dark depths of the cave where he was searching for the treasure, he couldn't find his way out. I was afraid he might get lost or fall into some trap. But he showed such determination and managed to find an ancient mechanism that revealed secret passages.
And those creepy caves. They were full of muck, mold, and horrifying spiders that made even me shudder. Tim kept stepping in sticky slime, and the horrid smell filled the cave. It was clear that it wasn't easy for him, but he kept going despite all the disgust.
And finally, after all the hardships, Tim found the treasure. It was hidden in an ancient chest, and when he opened it, fireworks of precious gems exploded into the air. Tim was on cloud 9, and we were all so happy that he had overcome all the obstacles and found the treasure.
Yes, and I must admit he showed incredible willpower. Even though I'm not thrilled that everything went so smoothly for him, he deserves praise for handling those horrible trials.
It was a tense journey, and I'm glad it ended well. Tim proved that even in the scariest situations, you can find a way out.
Yes, although it was frightening and disgusting, Tim managed to overcome all the challenges. And perhaps those unpleasant experiences made his adventure even more exciting.
In the end, Tim returned home full of new experiences and stories. And although the journey was tough, he proved that with determination and bravery, you can overcome any obstacle. I hope you enjoyed this story. Get ready for another exciting story about Tim's adventure in a fantastical realm. This time, Tim found himself in a magical land where he had to compete in a grand tournament to save the Enchanted Kingdom. The tournament had all kinds of incredible challenges, from dragon racing to wizard duels. Tim was beyond thrilled to prove himself in such a magical setting.
Oh, the tournament wasn't all rainbows and butterflies. Tim had to face off against some of the most ruthless competitors. There was a particularly nasty sorcerer who constantly tried to sabotage Tim's efforts. Tim was furious when his dragon was tampered with and almost lost the race. It was infuriating to see how low some people can go just to win.
I was on edge the whole time. The stakes were incredibly high, and one mistake could mean disaster. Tim had to navigate through a labyrinth filled with hidden traps and mystical beasts. There were moments when I feared he might get trapped or face a dangerous creature that could end his quest. Every turn seemed like it could be his last.
And the conditions in the labyrinth were just dreadful. The walls were covered in slimy moss, and the air was thick with a foul stench. Not to mention the creepy crawlies and the occasional burst of foul-smelling gas that made the whole experience just revolting. Tim had to wade through muck and fight off disgusting critters while trying to stay focused.
Despite all the challenges, Tim's perseverance paid off. He managed to navigate through the labyrinth, beat the sorcerer in the final duel, and win the grand prize, a magical artifact that could restore peace to the kingdom. Tim's excitement was through the roof when he realized he had saved the realm and achieved his goal.
It was satisfying to see Tim triumph over those who tried to bring him down. Even though it was a hard-fought victory, Tim showed that determination and courage can overcome even the nastiest obstacles.
I'm relieved that everything turned out well in the end. Tim's bravery and quick thinking saved the day. The tension was immense, but he handled it all with incredible skill.
As much as I hated the nasty conditions and the gross encounters, I have to give Tim credit for pushing through. His ability to endure the disgusting aspects of the quest and still come out on top was truly impressive.
And that's the story of Tim's magical tournament adventure. He proved once again that no matter how challenging or disgusting the situation, with determination and a positive spirit, you can achieve greatness. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the story. Today, we're going to tell you an incredible story about how we, joy, anger, anxiety, and disgust, used to be in the mind of a criminal. Yes, it's true. We were part of his mind and helped him turn his life around. It all started many years ago when this criminal was just beginning his path.
Yeah, it was something. We were all filled with rage and hatred, and honestly, it was quite an unpleasant time. This criminal was furious, and I was the main source of his anger. He constantly directed his rage at others, which of course led him to a lot of problems.
On the other hand, I was there to remind him of all the possible dangers and consequences of his actions. My anxiety and fear often spilled over to him, making his life even more stressful. I was always in his head, highlighting how risky and dangerous everything was.
I can't forget how I filled his mind with repulsive thoughts. He was full of disgust towards the world around him, and that didn't help his mood at all. He only saw the bad in everything, which just made things worse.
But everything changed one fine day. At some point, he started to realize that this life wasn't bringing him happiness. I began to remind him that joy and satisfaction could be found outside of this darkness. We started working together to guide him on the right path.
Yeah, I admit it wasn't easy. He had to deal with my anger and learn to control it, but in the end, he learned to use it for positive purposes. He began fighting for justice instead of spreading chaos.
I also helped him by showing that fear and anxiety could be used to avoid real threats and make thoughtful decisions. I taught him that sometimes dangers can be prevented by taking the right measures.
And I played my part too. I helped him see that disgust and aversion could be overcome, and that it's important to strive for cleanliness and order. He learned to appreciate the good things in life and stopped focusing on what disgusted him.
In the end, we all helped him change his life. Now he lives an honest life, helps others, and has found his place in society. We are proud that we were able to help him become the best version of himself.
Yes, I'm glad he realized that anger isn't the path to happiness. He learned to use his energy for something good.
And I'm happy that his fear and anxiety now help him avoid real dangers, rather than creating them.
And I'm glad he was able to overcome his negative feelings and find joy in life.
So, friends, that's the story. Even the darkest and most negative thoughts can be transformed into something good. It's never too late to change your life for the better. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed our story.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride. Remember, even when things get tough, you've got the power to make a change.
And if you ever feel overwhelmed, just take a deep breath and think things through. You've got this.
Don't forget to keep things clean and stay true to yourself. It's the little things that make a big difference.
Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed our time together. Your support really helps.
Goodbye for now. Remember, keep striving for the best.
Bye, everyone. Hey, friends. We're back together again, and today we have a real challenge ahead of us. We're going to try to escape from the creepy Mr. Nightmare's school. This is going to be an incredibly thrilling adventure, and I can't wait to get started. But before we dive into this spooky atmosphere, I want to remind you how important your support is. Every like you give us is like a ray of light in this dark place, helping us move forward and overcome every obstacle.
Guys, this school is a real nightmare come true. You have no idea how crucial your involvement is. Likes and subscriptions aren't just empty clicks. They give us the strength to fight and push on when everything seems hopeless. So don't hold back. Support us, and we'll show Mr. Nightmare what we're made of.
I'm so worried for Tim. This school is full of traps and dangers, and I'm terrified just thinking about what could happen if we miss something. Please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single moment. With every subscription, there's a chance someone else will see this video and help with advice in the comments. And with notifications turned on, you won't miss a single detail of our adventure.
Ugh, I can already sense how much dirt and nastiness awaits us ahead. But you know what will help me not feel so grossed out? Your comments. Share your thoughts on our playthrough, give tips on how to avoid traps, and just share what's on your mind. And let's keep it positive. Only good vibes and helpful advice, okay? No rudeness, just friendliness and support.
Yes, everyone. Together, we can get through Mr. Nightmare's school. Your likes, subscriptions, and comments are what make our adventures possible. We love sharing the most exciting moments with you, and with your support, we'll be doing it even more often and better. Let's make this episode unforgettable. Right now, our boy Tim is lifting some very heavy boxes to get to the top. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff waiting for us up there.
I don't think there's anything interesting waiting for us up there. I think there's a lot of dangerous and difficult things ahead. I'm so worried about Tim. What if he can't handle it? What if he gets hurt on some sharp metal edges?
Don't panic! Tim has handled tougher things than this. He'll get through this level with ease.
I think we're in for a lot of dirty, disgusting, and unpleasant things ahead. And also,
Let's not worry and get anxious. To distract ourselves, let's tell stories to our favorite viewers.
Yes, I agree.
Story will be about how Tim ended up in a parallel world where everything is reversed. One day, Tim stumbled upon a strange door in an old abandoned building. Thinking it might be something exciting, he opened it and found a glowing portal. He stepped through and found himself in a parallel world where everything was upside down. The sky was beneath him, and people walked on the ceiling. Oh, Tim, this is incredible. We're in such an amazing world where everything is upside down and looks completely different. Can you imagine how thrilling it is to see the world from this unusual perspective? We can walk on ceilings and see clouds under our feet. Every corner of this world is full of wonders, and I can't wait to discover what's next. Everything feels so unique and exciting. With every new step, my heart fills with joy and delight as we experience this fantastic adventure together. And you know what's the most amazing part? Here, we can see familiar things in a completely new light. For instance, how clouds flow across the ceiling, how rivers run along walls, and how we walk on the upper floors of buildings while the buildings themselves seem to float in the air. It's like we've entered a world of fantasies and dreams where the boundaries of the ordinary and extraordinary are blurred. I'm ready to explore every corner of this world, and I'm sure there are thrilling discoveries ahead.
Honestly, I was a bit annoyed when I saw that everything was upside down and completely different from what we're used to. But you know what? It's actually better. It's like a challenge that's worth taking. This strange, reversed environment makes our journey even more thrilling. We can use this oddity to our advantage and find ways to overcome all the obstacles in our path. Let everything be reversed. It only adds excitement and drive to our adventure. We'll stick together and tackle any challenges that come our way. Yes, it might seem that everything is difficult and unfamiliar, but that's what makes our adventure so thrilling. Every step is a challenge. Every obstacle is a chance to show our skill and ingenuity. We won't let these strange conditions stop us. In the end, overcoming difficulties only adds adrenaline and makes the victory even sweeter. So let's go, despite all the inverted things and unusual conditions.
All this looks pretty frightening. We're in a completely unfamiliar world, and I can't help but worry about what might be waiting for us. What if there are hidden dangers we don't know about? We don't understand how this gravity works, and what might happen if we're not careful. I really don't like the thought of stumbling into something dangerous or ending up in an unpleasant situation. I hope we can find a way back home safely and not get hurt along the way. Every move we make here could have unexpected consequences. I'm anxious about the possibility of running into some trap or ending up in a situation we can't get out of. Our usual landmarks don't work here anymore, and that makes everything so unpredictable. I can't stop worrying about what might happen if we're not careful. We need to be cautious and act carefully to avoid anything truly dangerous.
I don't like how everything looks here. Everything is reversed and strange, and it's making me feel disgusted. This world seems dirty and unpleasant. I don't like that we'll have to walk on ceilings and view everything from such an unusual angle. I hope there's nothing too disgusting that we can't handle. Everything seems not only strange, but also really off-putting. I hope we find a way out quickly and return to a cleaner and more familiar world. And the entire reversed world looks like it hasn't been cleaned in ages. Dust and dirt hanging from the ceiling, as if someone forgot about cleaning. It's just unpleasant to see how untidy everything is and how we have to walk through these unappealing areas. It all seems not only strange, but truly repulsive. I hope we find a way out quickly and get back to a more orderly and familiar place.
Tim continued his journey through the reversed world, exploring its peculiarities and trying to adapt to the new conditions. Each of his inner friends experienced their emotions about what was happening, making the adventure even more interesting and challenging. And what will the next story be about? You will hear for yourself. Now, I'm so excited to tell you about how Tim recently met a group of amazing robot explorers. These robots are true adventurers, traveling across Earth and studying everything around them. When Tim first encountered them, his eyes lit up with excitement. He was amazed at how the robots gathered information about people and nature using their advanced technology. He immediately felt part of something grand and thrilling. Their mission isn't just about collecting data, but understanding our world better, exploring every detail, and uncovering hidden secrets. Tim was thrilled by the chance to be part of such an incredible journey. It was a real adventure filled with emotions and amazing discoveries.
But as you might expect, not everything went smoothly. Despite their advanced technology, these robots faced many challenges. Sometimes the robots made mistakes, which caused frustration. For example, there was a time when their research led to incorrect conclusions, and Tim and his new friends found themselves in a tricky situation that required immediate resolution. This really angered Tim because he had to fix problems caused by technical glitches or incorrect data. Yet, it was during these moments that Tim showed his true character and ability to handle challenges. These trials, though stressful, allowed Tim to learn a lot about himself and the importance of staying calm and finding solutions even in the toughest situations.
I can't help but worry for Tim when he found himself in such a complex situation. The robot explorers, although smart and well-prepared, could still face unforeseen dangers. I always felt anxious when Tim and his new friends encountered unexpected problems, like technical failures or complex conditions that required quick decisions. These moments created real anxiety for me because I feared Tim might end up in a difficult situation from which it would be hard to escape. But I believe that with his determination and the support of the robots, he will be able to overcome all challenges and continue his thrilling journey.
I also have to mention that Tim and the robots might have encountered some not-so-pleasant moments on their path. For instance, in some areas where they conducted their research, the conditions were not the cleanest or most comfortable. Tim had to deal with dirt, unpleasant smells, and even some disgusting creatures. These moments caused me a feeling of disgust, and I could imagine how Tim must have felt discomfort in such situations. But despite this, he continued his journey with resilience and determination. It was important not only to handle the unpleasantness, but to maintain a positive attitude despite all the difficulties and discomfort.
Unfortunately, I have to interrupt this story as it's time to say goodbye. We'll finish this story in one of the upcoming videos. To make sure you don't miss it, please subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay updated on our latest videos. Oh, how quickly time has flown by. We've only just started our exciting journey with the wandering robots, and it's already time to say goodbye. I hope you enjoyed exploring the planet with us.
Yes, and don't forget that there's still so much more interesting stuff ahead. We'll definitely continue our adventure in the next video. So don't miss out on the continuation. Subscribe to our channel.
And please, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. I always worry that you might miss our new videos and that you'll support us. So, make sure to hit the bell icon to stay updated on all our new content.
Also, leave your comments. We always appreciate your feedback. Just try to avoid any harshness to keep the mood pleasant. Your opinions matter to us.
Goodbye, friends. Hello, friends. Today, we're embarking on an incredible adventure in the Escape the Castle Fortress mode. This castle is full of secrets, traps, and puzzles that we'll need to solve. Just imagine. Towering walls, dark corridors, and ancient mysteries hiding behind every door. This is going to be amazing.
But do you realize how many dangers there are? Narrow bridges over chasms, slippery stones, and maybe even ghost nights. We don't know what's waiting for us around every corner. I'm already worried about Tim. What if he falls into a trap? We have to be really careful and alert.
Oh, stop worrying. If anyone tries to get in our way, I'll show them who's boss. We'll smash through any obstacles and tear apart all the traps. No ancient knights are going to stop us.
I really don't like old castles. Dust, mold, cobwebs, and all sorts of filth. Can you imagine how dirty it must be? But what can you do? We'll just have to endure it and get through this to help Tim escape.
So, friends, if you like what we're doing, support us with likes and subscriptions. Your comments and engagement give us strength and confidence. We've got lots of challenges ahead, and together, we can definitely overcome them.
And don't forget to leave comments. It's important for us to know your opinion and what you think of our adventures. The more active you are, the more likely we'll continue tearing through this castle.
Yes, your likes and subscriptions will help calm me down a bit. With your support, we can get through all the challenges.
And let us know what you think of this old castle. Maybe some of you aren't thrilled with such ancient places either. Your feedback helps us improve the videos.
You're probably wondering how we ended up in this medieval castle, right? Well, let me explain. Recently, Tim found an old clock and accidentally discovered that it could be used to travel through time. Can you believe it? Real time travel.
At first, everything went smoothly. Tim traveled, learned a lot of new things, met different people, studied history. It was so fascinating. But this last journey turned out to be something else entirely.
And of course, at the worst possible moment, the clock broke or something went wrong. Tim got stuck in this cursed castle. Now he's forced to find a way out of these old stone walls, full of traps and dangers.
Yeah, and there's nothing pleasant about this castle. Dust, cobwebs, and who knows what else is lurking in these dark corners. I hope Tim finds a way out soon, because staying here too long is just unbearable.
But don't worry, friends. Tim has already found some clues, and I'm sure he'll escape from here soon. So let's keep supporting him and stay optimistic. Story will be about how Tim discovered an ancient painting that turned out to be quite extraordinary. Each night, the painting changed, revealing secrets of its previous owner's past. Oh, how did it all begin? Tim was browsing a flea market, surrounded by old items and forgotten treasures. It was one of his favorite pastimes. He always believed that such places held unique finds. And then he spotted it, a painting of an old mansion. It immediately caught his eye. The painting was covered in dust, but its charm was undeniable. Tim decided it would be a perfect addition to his room. Who could have imagined that this purchase would lead to such incredible discoveries?
Yeah, if only everything were that simple. There was something off about that painting from the start. It was obvious. And what did Tim do? He hung it on his wall, of course. So foolish, So foolish. That very first night, strange things began to happen. Tim woke up to some rustling noises. He looked at the painting, and it had changed. Instead of the old mansion, there was a young man standing in front of the same house. How is that even possible? How could Tim not realize that he should have dealt with this immediately?
Oh, I felt something was wrong right away. When Tim told me about it, I couldn't stop worrying. Who was this man? Why did he appear on the painting? What if it's some sort of evil spirit trying to cross into our world? I couldn't think of anything else. With each passing night, the painting changed more and more. New people, scenes, events. It all felt so real, as if the painting was trying to tell a story that no one was meant to know. What if this story carried danger?
And I immediately sensed something disgusting about that painting. With each new scene, there was a dark, oppressive feeling. On the third day, the painting depicted a fire in that mansion, and the smell of smoke seemed to fill the whole room. It was unbearable. Even the house in the painting looked darker and gloomier, as if something terrible was happening to its inhabitants. It was clear that this had to be stopped immediately. Who knows where the revelation of these secrets could lead?
But Tim didn't want to stop. The more the painting changed, the more fascinated he became. He felt that this story had to be uncovered to the end. Maybe he believed he could help those people captured on the canvas find peace? Tim started investigating the mansion in real life, trying to find traces of the events depicted on the painting. And you know what? He succeeded. He found old documents that told the story of the family that owned the house. There was so much pain and tragedy that it seemed the house was cursed.
But what happened next? The more Tim learned, the more dangerous it became. On the last night, the painting showed something utterly horrifying. The people in it seemed to come alive, reaching out through the frame as if trying to escape from their world. Tim realized that if he didn't stop it, they could enter the real world. He didn't know what to do. It felt like the painting was controlling him. And I was so anxious for him. But fortunately, Tim found a way to fix everything. He burned the painting and everything stopped. Since then, the house has been peaceful again.
Such a horrifying sight. But the most disgusting thing is that it could have ended much worse. The painting is gone, but who knows how many other secrets lie among old objects. Maybe it's better not to touch them at all? Tim learned his lesson. Some stories are better left untold, especially if they could lead to disaster.
So ends the story of Tim and the mystical painting. It left all of us with different impressions, but the important thing is that it ended well. However, the question remains, how many more secrets does the world around us hold?
The next story will be about Tim and the music box. Tim finds an old music box that grants wishes, but each wish comes with its own consequences. Tim discovered an old music box in the attic and was amazed when it started playing. At first, everything was great. Every time he made a wish, it came true, and he felt so happy. He wished for a little luck and found himself on top of the world.
But soon the wishes began to cause problems. When Tim wished for wealth, it changed his life. People started treating him differently, and he felt isolated. Wishes brought a lot of trouble, and it was infuriating.
I was worried for Tim because each new wish brought unforeseen consequences. Even simple wishes led to problems. It seemed fun at first, but then it became anxiety-inducing when everything didn't go as planned.
Tim often faced disgusting results from his wishes. From the excess of wealth to failed attempts at improving his life, it was all horrible. The box, which seemed magical, turned his life into complete chaos.
Finally, Tim realized that it's important to appreciate what you already have. He used his last wish to correct his mistakes and set things right. The music box returned to its usual melody, and Tim learned to appreciate the real joys.
It was a relief when Tim finally learned the lesson. I was calmer knowing that he had learned to value what he had. Sometimes it's best to move forward, accepting your mistakes and finding peace in the present.
Yes, and the lesson was valuable. The music box reminded us how easy it is to ruin even the best things. It's important to remember the consequences and appreciate the simple joys in life.
And the next story will be about Tim and the mysterious diary. This happened recently when Tim stumbled upon an old diary in the attic. It was covered in dust and looked very ancient. But the most amazing thing, the diary predicted the future.
Of course, Tim was thrilled. But as soon as he started reading the entries, he saw that the diary described not only his future successes, but also failures that seemed unavoidable.
And so Tim began to panic. He tried to change everything that the diary predicted to avoid the bad outcomes. He changed his plans, his interactions with friends, and even his daily habits. But the more he tried to change the future, the more anxious he became.
In the end, Tim realized that he couldn't control everything. He understood that all these changes were only creating more problems. He decided to accept his fate as it was and live in the present moment. The diary was intriguing, but it taught Tim an important lesson. Sometimes it's better to accept the future as it is and enjoy life here and now.
Thanks for joining us today. We're so glad you enjoyed our adventure.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on the next videos. We always worry you might miss something exciting.
And of course, hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Your likes motivate us to keep creating new and exciting content.
Also, let us know in the comments what you think of today's video and what you'd like to see next. Your feedback is important to us.
See you next time, friends. Bye-bye. Hello, dear friends. Today we have a totally crazy mode. Skibidi Toilet Berry's Prison Run. Can you believe it? Tim will be escaping from Skibidi Toilets. Yes, you heard that right. These creepy toilets have set up a real challenge for us, and Tim has to escape from this insane prison without getting caught.
But before we dive into this wild adventure, please make sure to subscribe to our channel. Every subscription helps us create even more exciting videos so you can enjoy these thrilling moments with us.
And don't forget to hit that like button. If you're loving this idea and want to see more strange and interesting modes, your like will really help us out.
Of course, leave your comments. Tell us which part of today's video surprised you the most or what gave you the chills. Or maybe you have ideas for future modes. We'd love to hear everything you have to say.
And don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss out on new episodes. We've got a lot of exciting content coming your way, so get ready for incredible adventures.
Guys, do you smell that nasty odor? It seems like the smell of toilets. How disgusting. It's just unbearable. Let's hurry up and escape from this revolting prison before it gets even worse.
No, I don't feel anything at all. Maybe it's because my nose is stuffed, or I've just gotten so used to these smells that I don't even notice them anymore. But honestly, I'm kind of glad I can't smell that stench, because judging by how you describe it, I'd definitely be furious.
Just look at this. Under us is that stinky and disgusting toilet. It's so unpleasant to be so close to that horrible place. Every time I see that filth and smell that repulsive odor, it gives me chills. The stench seeps through the walls and seems to fill the air around us. I can't wait to get out of this terrible place.
Can you imagine what our boy Tim has to go through? All these disgusting places, these terrible smells. It's overwhelming. Every moment he spends in this dreadful environment must be so stressful. I really think he deserves a lot of support right now. So if you can, please give him a like and subscribe. It would mean a lot and help him keep going through these tough challenges.
Story time. Story will be about how Tim went on a round-the-world journey. This story began when Tim decided to fulfill his long-held dream, to embark on a round-the-world journey. Imagine him, full of enthusiasm and joy, preparing for this adventure. His eyes sparkled as he gathered everything he needed, a world map, travel guides, and of course his favorite backpack. Tim was brimming with anticipation as he was about to see new countries, meet different cultures, and make many exciting discoveries. It was so inspiring that even I, Joy, found it hard to contain my excitement. Tim had dreamed of this journey for so long, and now finally his dream was coming true.
But unfortunately, joy doesn't always go hand in hand with reality. When Tim crossed the border of his country and found himself in a completely unfamiliar place, anxiety started to build up. We have to admit that traveling doesn't always go as planned, and this is especially evident when you're far from home. Tim faced unexpected challenges, language barriers, changing weather, and complex transportation systems. In each new country, he felt his anxiety grow as he constantly wondered, what if I get lost? Or what if I can't find my way back? These thoughts haunted him, and I, anxiety, found it very difficult to watch his distress.
And then, As if adding insult to injury, came a moment when everything became simply unbearable. When Tim encountered several unsuccessful attempts to find accommodation and places where he was simply ignored, my anger couldn't stay out of it. He spent hours trying to figure out local rules and find alternative options, and it really made him feel frustrated. Imagine long queues, incorrectly booked tickets, and constant delays. All of this triggered a storm of emotions, and I, anger, fully felt Tim's struggle with these trials. How could anyone not get angry when everything goes wrong as planned?
But strangely enough, the toughest moments aren't always about irritation. When Tim found himself in places that clearly didn't meet his expectations, such as dirty hotels or crowded markets with unbearable smells, disgust, found it hardest to stay in the background. He faced situations that caused him deep disgust. Unkempt conditions, unpleasant odors, and poor hygiene. At times, this became a real challenge, and Tim, with no other option, had to accept it as part of his journey. Disgust, saw his internal discomfort grow vividly, and it was far from pleasant.
Despite all the difficulties, Tim didn't give up. He continued his journey, and each obstacle was overcome, each barrier crossed. His determination and willpower helped him handle any challenges, and in the end, he found satisfaction in what he saw and experienced. Joy, anxiety, anger, and disgust were all part of his journey, and although each of us contributed to his emotions, Tim learned to manage them and move forward. And while it was sometimes hard, the journey made his experience much richer and more valuable.
We all see how Tim became more confident and adaptable to the unexpected, and although anxiety still occasionally bothers him, he learned to handle it. This experience taught him how important patience and flexibility are, and how even the toughest situations can offer valuable lessons.
Despite all the difficulties and irritations, Tim understands that every challenge is an opportunity to become better. And while it's sometimes hard to deal with one's own anger, he learned to turn it into energy for achieving goals.
And although moments of disgust were unpleasant, Tim learned to handle them and view them as part of the adventure. He realized that every experience, even the most unpleasant, could be a valuable lesson.
So, this is how Tim completed his round-the-world journey. He returned home filled with incredible memories and new knowledge. And although his path was full of emotions and trials, every moment made his journey unique and unforgettable. And the next story will be about how Tim got stuck in Groundhog Day. Imagine, guys, one day Tim wakes up and realizes that every day is repeating itself. Imagine this. He wakes up in the morning, thinking everything is as usual, but then he notices strange things. For example, he already knows that the neighbor outside will trip, the bus will always arrive a minute late, and that his mom has again forgotten to turn off the kitchen light. It all seems so funny. After all, you can live this day however you want without worrying about consequences because tomorrow, it all starts over again. Tim even began to test this in practice. He did some silly and funny things that he would normally never do. What fun, right? But then,
of course, the realization comes that something isn't right. Imagine how strange it becomes when every day is the same. Tim began to worry. What if I never get out of this loop? What if every day keeps repeating over and over and I can't do anything to change it? These thoughts wouldn't leave him alone, and every new morning alarm sounded more and more ominous. Every morning he woke up with a heavy feeling in his chest, knowing that another day without changes awaited him. Anxiety, couldn't stand to watch this calmly.
And that's when anger, stepped in. Imagine how frustrating it is to constantly face the same people, hear the same phrases, and know that there will be no consequences. It was all so infuriating for Tim. At one point, he even started to rebel against the day, trying to break the system, do something unexpected, scream, throw things, but it was all in vain. Everything returned to the start, and that only made him angrier. How can you be calm in such a situation when nothing can be changed? I felt the irritation boiling inside him, and I couldn't hold back this fury either.
But that's not all. Imagine how tiring it is to do the same thing every day, see the same faces, experience the same events. Everything starts to feel so dull, so disgusting. Tim couldn't stand seeing the same breakfasts, the same faces at school, hearing the same stories on TV. Everything around him became gray and gross. Disgust, could barely breathe from this monotony and sameness, and Tim felt the same way. He longed for something new, for some change, but he couldn't achieve it.
But you know what's most interesting? In the end, Tim realized that the only way to escape this endless loop was to change himself. He understood that every new day was a chance to become better, try something new, and find joy in the little things. And when he really started to do things differently, caring for others, learning new things, being attentive to those around him, this day finally changed. The next day he woke up, and everything was new. The lesson is that sometimes, to change the world around you, you first need to change yourself. Well, friends, it's time to say goodbye. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give a thumbs up, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next adventures. Your comments are also very important to us, so be sure to let us know what you liked and what you'd like to see in the future. Good luck to everyone, and see you soon.